What up? It's your boy, King A9, and we're back with another episode at A9 Cast. Last episode, we went kind of long. We went about, almost an hour. Try to shorten it a little bit more. I got a lot more subjects to hit, so I'm going to try and hit those as fast as I can, get what I need off, and go on to the next one. Try not to go an hour, you know what I'm saying? But I did get a good amount of clips on there. I posted a few more clips I've been posting on YouTube channel, been posting on Instagram, whatever like that. Today, we got a lot more to talk about. I'm going to try and hit them real quick, break certain things down, move on to the next one. So the first one I want to talk about, I am getting kind of tired of getting on Instagram. And like they're content creators where I'm like, I respect their perspectives on certain conversations. I respect their platform. I respect their influence. I respect maybe their position in whatever it is that they're speaking on, whether it's politically or whether they're speaking on something in the music industry or things like that. I respect those things. But I'm starting to notice a pattern where these people are more focused on churning out content, being in the mix of the algorithm more than, like I always say, taking their due diligence to kind of like do their own research, come up with their own perspectives and their own words. That's kind of why I keep this. Like sometimes when I'm writing like a video essay, then I'll, you know what I'm saying, script everything out. But usually it's just, I'm gonna have these plot points and I'm gonna just talk from the soul, talk from the mind. You understand what I'm saying? That I'm gonna slip up sometimes or this and that, but it's that practice of just speaking that is important to me, especially free thought speaking or whatever like that. I may make some mistakes or whatever like that, but that's the rawness that I want to give off. You understand what I'm saying? And these people, to me, even if I agree with what they're saying or I respect what they're saying, the biggest problem I have is their usage of ChatGPT. I feel like these people are getting lazy with how they are using ChatGPT basically to do everything. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see people really bringing it out in the comments of these people or whatever like that. And I want to comment, but at the same time, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not about to, I'm gonna just leave it for this, for this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just jump into comments and then now they want to go back and forth with me about a situation that ain't really that big of a deal. So I just want to talk about it. A lot of people that I keep seeing, and because I know how ChatGPT sounds, I know how ChatGPT reads, I notice it instantly. And certain content creators that want to kind of like break the news or give you updates on what's going on in the industry, you can hear the fact that they're reading directly from ChatGPT. Some of the information they give be misinformation, it'd be wrong, it'd be outdated. And also they use this, it's not just this, it's this. It's not just that, it's that. This isn't just a dramatization, it's an oversimplification. Like that type of way of speaking, people don't talk like that in regular conversation. People don't speak like that regularly. That is a ChatGPT thing. And when I hear it, I'm just like, can I get your real opinions? You understand what I'm saying? But they be so ready to jump on whatever it is that they want to talk about. A few days ago, I saw a content creator, I'm not even going to name them. They wanted to talk about the delay of GTA 6. The delay of GTA 6. But the information that they were basing it on was old information. They were saying GTA 6 has been pushed back to May 6th of 2026 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Not realizing that a few months ago, they pushed it back again. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like you're giving outdated information. You're trying to make it seem like you're interested in this thing. You don't even typically speak on video games. So the fact that you're speaking on video games is weird to me. You understand what I'm saying? So you're speaking on a subject matter you're not as familiar with as you want people to think you are. You're using ChatGPT to give your thoughts about how you feel about something. And then using ChatGPT in the caption, you got the M dashes, you got the it's not just this, it's that, you got the hashtags, you got the credited sources and all this stuff right there in your caption. It just is weird. And they're not the only person. I see this constantly where I'm hearing these people talk and all I hear is ChatGPT speaking through human beings. I feel like I've spoken on this before, but it's just getting so annoying. And that is like, people that I were interested on their perspective at one point because I could feel the rawness and them really speaking their mind, they're just becoming more and more sounding like ChatGPT. And I just don't like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're using ChatGPT for your sources, I said it on the last episode, use them as a tool, not as a teacher. Have a discussion with ChatGPT to build your own thoughts and your own ideas and to flesh them out. Write your own script of what you want to say or just go off the dome. But to be speaking directly from ChatGPT for your content, to be able to be on top of everything and talk about everything, to me, it's a sign of laziness. It disconnects you from the people that you're actually talking to because now you just sound like AI. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't be hearing three different people from three different backgrounds talking in the exact same way, using the exact same, it's not just this, it's that. It's not just this, it's that. I keep seeing content creators doing this and I'm just getting tired of it because it's just like, bro, I don't care about what you're talking about no more because you're not speaking from the heart. You're not speaking from the soul. You're saying what the AI wants you to say. And the AI, like I said in the past episode, has hallucinations. They have outdated information sometimes or misinformation sometimes. And you are now putting that accountability of spreading misinformation, saying the wrong thing or saying something outdated on yourself. And now people are looking at you like you're not a reliable source of information anymore because you're using ChatGPT as a reliable source of information. Next, let's talk about TikTok. Apparently TikTok is being censored. TikTok was forced to sell to an American company, which was a political move the entire time. It was a political move the entire time. It was never about the safety of the American people. Never believe that what the government forces other countries to do is for the safety of the American people. It was never about that. It was about having ownership over something that was generating a whole lot of money and they wanted their hands on it. They wanted their hands on it. For a long time, a lot of them have been complaining about, let me read this first and then I'm gonna get into this. New TikTok CEO, Adam Presser, says calling someone a Zionist can now be treated as a hate speech on TikTok. While openly bragging that the platform has tripled bans and dramatically expanded censorship, he explains there is no finish line to moderation, confirming that speech policing will only increase, not slow down. For a long time, these people on the right, I believe CEO Adam Presser, he's connected to Oracle, which is connected to another business that is basically fucking with Trump or whatever like that. These people on the right for so long have complained about cancel culture, have complained about losing their freedom of speech, have complained about being censored because they weren't able to say racist bullshit or homophobic or transphobic bullshit on the internet and kept getting flagged. They kept complaining about this, and now all of a sudden they are getting the power to censor what other people are saying against them. What type of bullshit is this, right? You can't call someone a Zionist. I'm pretty sure the censorship is going to say you can't call someone a fascist. You can't call someone a Nazi. You can't call someone, like, it's going to make sure that you can't call people that are putting hateful or rhetoric out into the world, putting out hateful content out into the world, putting out lies and misinformation out in the world. You cannot call them out on it. They are trying to police you calling people out on the bullshit that they're posting. You understand what I'm saying? And this is going to kill TikTok in America. This is going to kill TikTok in America because a lot of what TikTok was built off of, not only for the kids and the trends and stuff like that, but it was also built off of people kind of going back and forth and having these discussions and reacting to each other, calling each other out on certain things like that. Like, a lot of that was built on politics. A lot of that was built on talking about Palestine, talking about Gaza, talking about these things like that. These were things that kind of, I wouldn't say was the full thing. Of course, it has to do with a lot of trends, a lot of stuff that the kids are into. The freedom for these people to have these discussions was also a big part of certain things. And now that they're trying to police that with the hate speech, they're trying to shadow ban any talk about Palestine, and they're doing all these things. It is just a terrible thing. It's going to kill TikTok. This is the thing. They're going to eat off of TikTok for the first couple months because it's going to take time to transition. It's not going to happen overnight, but eventually people are going to get tired of the bullshit going on with TikTok, just like they did with Twitter. Twitter became way more right-wing, way more uncontrollable, and people started to move away from Twitter. I don't get on Twitter. People be trying to send me tweets or whatever like that. I don't get on Twitter because all I see is bullshit. I don't want to see bullshit all day. I see bullshit on Instagram enough. But at least I can balance it with some of my content that's pro-black. That's some of my content that's showing me some of the great things happening in the world. Content that's talking about the music industry, showing me artists, showing me comedians. I can balance it out. A lot of stuff I see on Twitter has nothing to do with anybody that I follow, anything that I'm interested in seeing, but I still see it. And you're going to do that with TikTok. You're going to start forcing content that people don't want to see down their throats. You're going to start censoring content that is very important to helping people realize the realities of the world they live in. You're going to start censoring that. So now people are going to continue to live in this hyper-individualist mindset that they've been living in, where they think that the world is exactly what they see on TikTok. And that's already causing a whole lot of mental health issues, a whole lot of mental health crisis. A reason why a lot of these people are getting into messing with ICE and this fascist and this Nazi is because the algorithms have put them in such a bubble that they really believe the bullshit that they see. And all you're doing is radicalizing more and more people onto the right by censoring anything that is anti-right, anything that is more left-leaning, anything that's more progressive, anything that is more factual. You're going to start censoring that shit. And that is wrong, and that's not where we should be going. That's my only thought on that. It's not a good thing. I think this is going to be, something has to happen because I think that's going to kill TikTok. That is going to kill TikTok. Also, I feel like I remember something where we're talking about, they want your immigration status. They want to know your race, your ethnicity, whether you identify as transgender or not. All this shit is going to kill TikTok. They were telling us that we need to get TikTok away from China because China is going to do this and that. They're going to get your information. They're going to do this and that. They didn't care about the safety of the American people. ICE in the streets right now is telling you that they don't care about the safety of the American people. All they care about is what helps their bottom line. They didn't want TikTok to save the American people. They wanted TikTok because TikTok was generating too much money, had too much control and too much leverage over these record labels and all these other places, that they were like, we need control of that because we want to have that leverage. And now look, as soon as they get it, what are they doing? They're now trying to check for your race, your sex, your ethnicity, all these things, immigration status. So guess what? Maybe they can get your location based off your immigration status and send ICE to your house. Not saying that that's what's going to happen, but what other reason do TikTok need your immigration status for? This is dangerous. Next topic. Let's talk about the little hoe, the little boy, the little bitch, Drizzy Aubrey Graham. Is still going on with his appeal, claiming that the judge was being unfair by pulling out records and pulling up lyrics from records that existed outside of the records that was referenced in the case. They wanted her to solely focus on Not Like Us and not pay attention to any other record where Drake was antagonizing him and telling him certain things that could provoke him to say the things he said in Not Like Us. Don't look at that. That is unfair. That is unreasonable. You should have focused on this. And it's bullshit. The crazy thing is, like, Drake fans, or even just some people who aren't necessarily Drake fans, but maybe anti-Kendrick fans for some reason, love to, it's kind of some right-wing gaslighting that they're doing, where they're trying to convince people on the opposite side that they're talking too much about Drake and that the beef is over and that they're trying to milk the whole thing and that this, that, and the third. is happening when the whole time the only person that's been carrying this entire thing out for the last 2 years, let's not forget, like that, and the Drake Kendrick beef is about to be 2 years old. The only person that's been dragging this out has been Drake. And all other people are doing is reacting to the shit that Drake is doing in response to something that happened 2 years ago. Kendrick performed already, won his Grammys already, dropped a whole new album, maybe getting rewarded for that. Kendrick's on a whole nother thing, and Drake is still upset because he lost a fucking rap battle. A rap battle he was going to lose in the first place. This idea that Drake, it was a lose. I saw the 21 Savage interview, and he was like, oh, it was a lose-lose. If he would have beat Kendrick, then they would have said that he was bullying Kendrick. There is no universe that I could see where Drake could have beat Kendrick in a rap battle. Personally, I couldn't have seen it happen. Drake is a good rapper, but he is not good against good rappers. He is not a good battle rapper against rappers that are actually good battle rappers. He got smoked by Pusha T. He got smoked by Kendrick. When he's going against rappers that may be a little skilled, but maybe aren't as skilled as him when it comes to rapping, it's easy. Or when he's battling against someone that doesn't have as much relevancy as him, maybe he can get it. But Joe Budden, he didn't respond to Joe Budden because he know he could not rap Joe Budden. He tried to battle Pusha T, couldn't beat Pusha T. You couldn't get as dirty as Pusha T. And now you try to do the same shit with Kendrick. You thought that, first of all, you thought you were more relevant than Kendrick Lamar. You thought that you could out-rap Kendrick Lamar. You thought you could little boy and get information that could ruin Kendrick Lamar. And the whole time, you couldn't. You had this confidence because people gas you up and continue to gas you up as if you're this legit great rapper. You're a great songwriter. You can make hit records. But when it comes to the skill of rapping, when it comes to culture, when it comes to the things that are very important, every time you battle someone that is really from the culture that you're appropriating, really raps for real, really connected to the streets for real, when you go against those people, you always lose. So to me, if he couldn't beat Pusha T, how the fuck was he ever going to beat Kendrick? It was not a lose-lose, and we keep trying to create this, it was a lose-lose situation. Drake knew he was going to lose. And now, because he lost, he feels like, I need to get a win by any means possible, so I'm going to sue my record label and for defamation, as if they didn't even say anything. And you were in the middle of a rap battle, but he wants to be like, oh no, we shouldn't count the full rap battle because this song specifically, he's trying to treat it as if Not Like Us was a random ass song that just dropped and defamed him out of nowhere. That's what they're trying to make it seem like. They're trying to make it seem like Drake was just chilling, minding his business, and all of a sudden, Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, where he was dissing him and calling him a PDF. First of all, the lyrics to the song is, Baka got a weird party at the party playing with his nose on. Baka got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified Z. If you don't realize that, first of all, Z, when you add a Z, you're talking about plural people, multiple people. When he's saying Baka got a weird case, party is playing with his nose somewhere, doing cocaine or some shit like that. Y'all, he's talking about a group of people. He didn't specifically call Drake a. He said you like him young, which the lady mentioned. You, as Tupac, told him to say talk about him liking young girls. So him saying I heard you like him young. You told him to say that. You told him to say that, first of all. And second of all, he was talking about not just you, but multiple people that you hang around that have weird cases, that have weird history with women, just like you. You understand what I'm saying? So you're trying to like spin this idea and make it something that it's not in order for you to get a win. Highly publicized. And then you're trying to make it seem like, oh, no other record was as big as Not Like Us, therefore any other record shouldn't be held to the same standard as Not Like Us. People were talking about the Drake and Kendrick beef for months and months and months. I'm a wrestling fan. They were talking about it on WWE. I remember Kofi Kingston talking about something. I'm Kendrick. I'm gonna whoop you like Kendrick did, Drake, or whatever the fuck that they would say. Like, they talking about it in the wrestling, bro. They talking about it in the wrestling. They was talking about it on ESPN. They was talking about it all over the place. They was talking about it on Good Morning America, talking about it on SNL. And you can't act like the battle was this small thing and all of a sudden Kendrick broke through the noise with Not Like Us. No, y'all took over the internet for a straight week. But you're trying to downplay it to make it seem like Kendrick randomly dissed you. Kendrick randomly called you out like you didn't call him a woman beater or whatever like that. And we just have to. And I know that it's not going to happen because people just have this. And this is why I don't consider myself a fan of anybody, because this is the bullshit you get into. People are going to defend this bullshit. People are going to defend this bullshit and hold on to it and be like, oh no, y'all just think I guess. Like, people are going to just downplay it and act like people are overreacting when they say we need to leave Drake the fuck alone. Just like I said about Nicki Minaj months ago. Nicki Minaj is crashing out. Something's going on with her. We need to leave her the fuck alone. Move on from her. We need to move on from Drake. These are people we need to move on from. And people are going to refuse to do it no matter how much these people shows you that they do not fuck with y'all. That they only use y'all for clout and fame. That's what they're showing you. You understand what I'm saying? But people are going to hold on to it for dear life because they think, no, this is my guy. This is the guy that made all the songs in my childhood and this and that. You can still have the songs from your childhood and not have this person attached to it. If you want to listen to old Drake, listen to old Drake. But to keep trying to support this man through the bullshit that he's been doing for the past 2 years and acting like that's cool, that's normal, that is justifiable at this point, He did the lawsuit, and everybody was like, oh, he's just trying to get his masters. He's just trying to do this. They were coming up with excuses, and people are not calling this shit out. That's one of my issues with J. Cole. J. Cole, you have not called this man out. You want to gain this respect from the hip-hop audience, but you still keep standing next to this man that is showing that he is not aligned with hip-hop, that he is not like us. You keep trying to stand next to this man. I'm not going to say keep trying to, but on your album, you have to address this shit. You made an album talking about something, I still love you, and you did this and that, and you're this and that, and I'm sorry for this and that. You made this song apologizing to Drake, and Drake not only didn't, like, I don't know whatever the fuck happened, but he's continuing to do this shit. If you cannot, J. Cole, have more love for Drake than you do for hip hop. You can't. And that's another thing that I'm noticing in the Drake lawsuit, is how they're wording everything is as if Drake was bigger than hip hop itself. That hip hop was this small niche thing that only certain people were into, and that because Kendrick had a big hit record like Not Like Us, it broke through the noise, and then it became mainstream, and it became this and that. Hip hop has been not only one of the biggest genres of all time, but one of the most influential genres of all time. You listen to country music and you're hearing hip hop elements. You listen to K-pop Demon Hunters. You listen to K-pop in general, you hear hip hop and R&B elements. Drake, you have made your career off of stealing hip hop and R&B elements and making it pop, making it commercial, making it watered down. You have made a career off of this. You did not make hip hop popular. Hip hop made you popular. So you in this lawsuit talking as if hip hop is this niche thing, and that you have to be a super hip hop fan, a super rap fan to understand the context of what was going on. And because that many people aren't super hip hop fans, they didn't know what was going on. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this has to stop. People have to take a stance. And if you don't take a stance, that's fine. We know where to put you. You can go with Nicki. You can go with Drake. That's how I feel at this point. At this point, that's how I feel. If you're going to continue to play both sides and be like, oh, well, he's still 21 Savage kept on saying, well, I don't think he really lost because he's still the biggest streamed artist on Spotify. As if Drake, and I don't think he's aware of this, which that goes to show, like I always say, these artists be so disconnected from the real world that they just go on these platforms and say bullshit and think that they know what they're talking about. If you're not aware that Drake has been sued multiple times and been put in multiple lawsuits, speaking on him being connected to bot forums and faking his streams and random accounts streaming Drake for 23 hours a day. And people kept trying to justify saying, well, I think that it's possible that someone could stream Drake for 23 hours straight. No, the fuck you don't. You're telling me people are listening to Drake in their sleep? Are you telling me that this is normal human behavior? No, it's not. It is bot behavior. Bots stream nonstop for long periods of time. That's how bots behave. That is not how human beings behave. Human beings have better things to do than to be listening to Drake all day long. Even little kids have to go to school, have to go to sleep, have to go out to eat, have other things to do other than be sitting in their room all day listening to Drake 23 hours a day. The people will literally justify irrational behavior in order to make it seem like, oh, they're just picking on Drake. So for you to say, oh, he's still the biggest streamed artist in the world, so he couldn't have lost the rap battle. But then it comes to find out, which I've been saying for a long time, everyone's been saying it. The people who know what's going on, have been saying it. Everything is fishy. As an artist, there are bot playlists that will try to add your music to their playlist to try and get you to pay for their promotion deals. Majority of those bot playlists, those are playlists that artists will get add on, and they bot every song on the playlist so the streams look real. So you can be like, oh, well, I'm on a playlist with Taylor Swift. Oh, I'm on a playlist with Bad Bunny. I'm on a playlist with Drake. This can really help my career. When it's all bots. Drake is almost always in those playlists. Taylor Swift is almost always in those playlists. Bad Bunny, I don't usually see Kendrick in there, but Burna Boy, all these big streaming artists, Ed Sheeran, are always on those type of playlists. But Drake is one of the most consistent people in those type of playlists. Drake is almost always connected to some type of streams. They've had Drake fans that have come out and said, this is what we do every time Drake drops a new song. We have 100 phones that we all have playing his new song at all times. They have been people that work, that are in the bot industry that have come out and said the only artists that we know of that don't purchase bots, that streams are legit, are DaBaby and Kendrick. They've been people that have said that every other artist do fuck with the bots. But we know that we've never had to do business with Kendrick. We've never had to do business with DaBaby. Those are legit streams and legit people listen to those songs. But everything else, we do kind of juice it. The label does hit us up to juice these numbers. Does Drake personally bot his streams? I can't confirm or deny it. But to say that Drake legitimately has more streams than every other artist on the planet, when majority of his songs don't, Drake has 0 songs. Drake has not had a song on the Billboard 100 since I want to say August, maybe July. But somehow he is still the most streamed artist in the world. But you have 0 songs right now. He has the 21 Savage song is on the charts right now. But for the last 6 months, there's been 0 Drake on the Billboard charts. Not saying that Billboard is the determiner. I always talk about, they don't tell you what's hot. They just tell you what they want to be hot. But even then, Drake has been nowhere on the Billboard Hot 100 for at least 6 months. Yet somehow he is still the most streamed artist in the world. But anyway, my bad. I'm going on this rant, but that lawsuit shit just is crazy, bro. It's crazy. And the copium is just insane to continue to support someone like this. To continue to support someone like this, but still act like you're hip hop or still act like you're for the culture. You can't support this man and be for the culture at the same time. They're paradoxical. Paradoxical. This man is anti-culture. He is standing next to Aiden Ross, who attacks black women all the time, disrespects hip hop all the time, talks down on black people all the time, and Drake is standing right next to this man. Y'all let that slide. He is showing a record label because he entered himself in a rap battle he was not ready for. Y'all let that slide. He has been saying weird shit about, oh, you make slave music, oh, you making free to slave music, oh, whipping China like slaves. Y'all let that shit slide. He is a 30, almost 40-year-old man that is always connected to 19, 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old women, and y'all let that shit slide. When is enough enough? What does this man have to do for y'all to be like, okay, yeah, he is kind of weird. I can't support that anymore. The reason why I think y'all won't do that is because y'all are weirdos too. Y'all are not of the culture too. But y'all don't want to say it. Y'all want to cosplay as like, nah, man, y'all just tripping this and that. If you're not for the culture, you can go hang with him. But stop trying to cosplay as if you're for the culture and that you're for, a lot of y'all are capitalists. Plain and simple. A lot of y'all still have this infatuation with him because all y'all care about is the money and the hits and the clout and the fame. Y'all do not care about the actual culture, actual authenticity, actual integrity, actual tenacity, y'all don't care about that shit. Y'all are just as much as coons as a Stephen A. But y'all hide behind the aesthetics of hip hop just like he does. But anyway, let's go on to the next one, the second to last one. And we're going to try and get out of here. I'm trying not to get to an hour. You understand what I'm saying? We got 26 minutes. But anyway, what's going on with this young boy push, right? Let's talk about this talk of young boy being the Michael Jackson of hip hop. People are saying that young boy is the Michael Jackson of hip hop. People have been trying to say this, and I feel like this comes from not only people not understanding, not truly being, maybe a lot of them weren't there when Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson in the 80s and the 90s. Michael Jackson was not just a very popular black artist to black people. Michael Jackson was not just a very popular black artist to American people. Michael Jackson, in his prime, in the 80s, in the 90s, even the early 2000s, was hands down top 3 most popular people on the planet. Michael Jackson, they have videos of people in countries where there is no phones, there is no this and that, barely any technology. They put Michael Jackson performance on TV, and the people who didn't speak any English said, oh, that's Michael Jackson. That's a different type of popularity. No matter, Michael Jackson was selling out shows in Korea. Michael Jackson was selling out shows in Budapest, whatever the fuck. What's the name of the fucking show? I can't think of the name of the fucking show. Michael Jackson was larger than life. You understand what I'm saying? So in order for someone to be the Michael Jackson of hip hop, they have to be recognizable to more than just black people in America. They have to be recognizable to everybody, everywhere. So this idea that young boy is the Michael Jackson of hip hop doesn't make any sense to me. Young boy is very popular, especially to the young demographic. Michael Jackson was not just popular to the young demographic. Michael Jackson was popular to everybody, everywhere. Whether you liked his music or not, you knew who Michael Jackson was. You knew Michael Jackson songs. You could have not been a fan of Michael Jackson, but you knew who he was. You knew who he was when you see him. Oh, that's Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was being parodied in all the comedies, all the TV shows, talked about on all the newses. When the news ratings were low, let's talk about Michael Jackson. That was who Michael Jackson was. That's how big he was. Young boy is not that. Young boy is not someone that people can talk about for the biggest ratings. If anything, Drake is more of that person. And Drake is not the Michael Jackson of hip hop. There is no Michael Jackson of hip hop. And the reason why I say Drake is not the Michael Jackson of hip hop is because people can be like, oh, well, he's the highest selling and he's this and that. Michael Jackson did not have bots. He did not have bots. You understand what I'm saying? He legitimately was selling hundreds or dozens or hundreds of millions of albums. Legitimately. People were legitimately leaving their stores. Michael Jackson was going platinum every single week for an entire year in the 80s. Drake is not doing that. Drake was not doing that. Drake barely tours outside of America. He just recently started doing that because he doesn't like Americans no more or whatever the fuck reason, because he feel like we sided with Kendrick. No, you lost, nigga. Michael Jackson, to this day, the fact that people are still trying to compare artists to Michael Jackson has been dead for 17 years. People are still bringing his name up. Michael Jackson just broke a record for having the most top 10 hit records over the longest period of time. The 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s, he has had a top 10 record, and he's been dead for 2 of those decades. That's different. I'm not underestimating young boy's popularity, but to keep throwing Michael Jackson's name around, there is no one like Michael Jackson. First of all, Michael Jackson not only was a popular artist, because people just like to hold him to this standard that, oh, he was just a very popular artist, so any very popular artist should be compared to Michael Jackson. No, Michael Jackson was not only a very popular artist, he made great music, and he made music that very positive music that was about changing changing the world, changing people's thoughts, changing how people navigated the world. You understand what I'm saying? A person that raps about, and YoungBoy makes like pain music, but he also makes like street music or whatever like that. YoungBoy, as far as I know, I'm not the deepest, I don't be deep into his catalog because he has too much music. YoungBoy does not make his bread and butter off of making music about making the world a better place for the children, making the world a better place for you and me. Heal the world, we are the world, black or white, man in the mirror. YoungBoy doesn't make that type of music. Also, as an editor's note, as far as YoungBoy, I would like to say that I've said this for years. YoungBoy, to me, because everybody wants to keep forcing him as the Michael Jackson of hip hop, Michael Jackson. I've said for years that YoungBoy, to me, reminds me more of DMX than he does Michael Jackson. If you look at DMX's whole career, especially DMX at his prime, the late 90s to the early 2000s, DMX was a very, very popular rapper that also had a lot of demons, had a lot of issues with the law, had a lot of beefs and different things like that, but was well respected by a lot of people, was very big, very popular. Look at some of the videos of DMX performing. Huge artist, but he kind of got in his own way sometimes and certain things like that. And I feel like that describes YoungBoy, even the subject matter of being in that conflict of being a street rapper that also has these demons that he's fighting with and has these conversations with God and these deeper, almost philosophical questions about life and things like that. The pain that DMX expressed in his music. To me, YoungBoy is the modern day DMX more than he is the modern day Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson stood for more than just being, I'm just a super popular artist. He made music that was about changing the world for the better, doing the best for the people around you, making sure that the world is the best place for the kids and that we are raising these kids to make a better world past us. These are values that Michael Jackson stood on. This is why I wouldn't compare Drake to Michael Jackson. Drake doesn't stand on fucking shit but himself. Michael Jackson was very popular, very influential, and had very powerful of a person. Owned a lot of publishing for a lot of people. Owned his own publishing. Made a whole lot of money off his own music. He was very business savvy. He knew what he was doing when it came to the music business. YoungBoy has had very off and on issues with his contracts and where his music goes and how much money he makes off his music. There are multiple layers to who Michael Jackson was as an artist, who Michael Jackson was as a man. To compare a YoungBoy to him is disrespectful to who Michael Jackson was. So I think that's weird. Complex named YoungBoy the greatest rapper alive of 2025. And because of that, first of all, YoungBoy had two big records on the Billboard Hot 100 within the last couple months. His tours was going viral, of course. That was his first tour, his first big tour, his first tour. So that's why it was going viral. A lot of his fans, a lot of young black people were showing up to the tours. It was a monumental moment. But to tell me that YoungBoy is a greater rapper than Malice, was a greater rapper than Kendrick Lamar, was a greater rapper than Pusha T, was a greater rapper than Chance the Rapper, was a greater rapper than Jade, was a greater rapper than, who else are we talking about? Was a greater rapper than, who else put out a fire project? There's a lot of good projects that came out. A greater rapper than Freddie Gibbs. A greater rapper, like, if you're telling me that YoungBoy was a greater rapper than all of these people that put out great projects, a greater rapper than Tyler the Creator, if this is what you're trying to tell me, I feel like there's something weird going on. My idea is that the culture, we're witnessing a culture fight with the industry. I feel like the industry wants to continue to have this image of the streets, a street-centric representation of hip-hop. I feel like the industry wants to continue to push a certain image of black culture because they feel like that's where the money is. And I feel like the culture itself is trying to fight back. The culture itself is telling you Kendrick is the direction we want to go. Clips is the direction we want to go. Freddie Gibbs is the direction we want to go. Jid is the direction we want to go. Like, we want something that's a little bit more thought-provoking, a little less misogynistic, a little less anti-black. You understand what I'm saying? The culture is telling the industry what they want. I feel like the industry is fighting back. I feel like that's why Billboard decided we're going to change the rules and pull a Kendrick off the charts. And the only person that's not that, like, I remember when Billboard started pulling the Kendrick songs, the only rapper that was the highest charting rapper was YoungBoy. And all of a sudden, people started to instantly, like, ignore the fact that Billboard pulled these Kendrick songs off instantly because YoungBoy was the only highest charting artist. Started to say, I think YoungBoy is the hottest artist, the hottest rapper out right now. Instantly, the narrative changed because Billboard decided we're going to pull the Kendrick songs off. Taylor Swift dropped, I think it was when Taylor Swift dropped the project, right? That's what pushed everything. And then they was like, oh, if you drop below 25, we're going to pull those songs. If you drop below 40, we're going to pull those songs. And instantly, the day of that they pulled these Kendrick songs off the Billboard charts, and YoungBoy just happened to be the highest charting rapper. He wasn't in the top 40. He was like 41, 42, 43 or something like that. People instantly, I heard it, I seen it. People were just saying it. I think YoungBoy is obviously the hottest rapper in the game right now. As if Kendrick wasn't hotter than YoungBoy before Billboard pulled him off. And still is hotter than YoungBoy. You're talking about a man that was doing a stadium tour this entire year. YoungBoy did an arena tour. And all of a sudden, people just decided to be like, yeah, we get that he has the highest selling hip hop album, has the most hit records off of that hip hop album, has the bigger songs off the hip hop album, is doing a stadium tour. We understand these things, but because the charts tell us that YoungBoy is the only rapper close to the top 40, we're going to now crown him the hottest rapper. It's weird. It's weird to me. I feel like the culture is telling us, the culture is speaking loudly. This is what we want now. We don't want that no more. And I feel like the industry is now fighting back. That's why they're trying to manufacture these conversations of YoungBoy being the Michael Jackson of hip hop, as if they're not bigger artists than YoungBoy. When Michael Jackson was big, there was not many artists, if any artist, bigger than Michael Jackson. Drake is a bigger artist than YoungBoy. Doechii is a bigger artist than YoungBoy. Maybe not to black culture. YoungBoy is very big in black culture, especially to young black people. But Doechii has had bigger songs than those YoungBoy songs. Kendrick has had bigger songs than those YoungBoy songs. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just weird that they're pushing this narrative about how big and dominant YoungBoy is, which yes, he is. But why are we tearing down the artists that are obviously bigger and are obviously making the music that the culture is looking for in favor of YoungBoy? It feels weird to me. And then last week or 2 weeks ago, YoungBoy's talking about, yeah, we pushing whatever. Like YoungBoy's openly supporting Trump. While everybody else is kind of making their stances known that we're not fucking with that. We're standing for the culture. We're standing for our people. We're on our pro-black time. We're on this and we're on that. And YoungBoy is on the opposite end, and that's who the industry feels like pushing and saying Michael Jackson would never have stood next to Trump. Would have never had to be like, yeah, we stand on whatever Trump's standing for. Michael Jackson would have hated Trump because everything that Michael Jackson stood for is the opposite of what Trump stands for. So to have this person that is obviously not aware of what Trump is doing or doesn't care because he's in his own little world, this person that pushes killing other black people in his music isn't for progressing or, you know what I'm saying, doing these things like that. To keep trying to tell us that he is the greatest rapper alive, to keep trying to tell us that he is the Michael Jackson of hip hop, to keep trying to tell us that he is the representation of the future of hip hop, I feel like there's a disconnect. There's tone deafness and there is a battle between the industry and the culture that's going on right now. And I think that's why the hip hop is falling off and it's hip hop falling off. The first hip hop is not in the top 40 since the 1990s. All these things is the industry trying to fight hip hop that is trying to fight the industry. When Kendrick said, I don't give a fuck about the industry, this and this and that, he was speaking for the culture. Like he said, I'm what the culture's feeling. And that is facts. He was not lying. That is what the culture has been feeling. We're not feeling none of this new shit. We don't want to hear this shit all the time. We want something else. We want more creativity. We want more diversity on the mainstream. We want better representation of what black people are really going through and not just this capitalistic, individualistic, misogynistic form of what black people are. And the industry is trying to fight against that. Final thing. Let's end it here. Final thing. The Dr. Pepper girl. So there was this girl that went viral. I want to say it was at the end of last year, right? She went viral because she said that she liked Dr. Pepper and she came up with a jingle for Dr. Pepper. She put it on TikTok. It started to go viral, and then all of a sudden, her jingle popped up in a commercial. Beautiful thing, nice story. I love to see it. From what I looked at real quick, I want to do my research on it real quick just to make sure. Apparently, they are saying that is a royalty-based deal, but I've also been seeing people on the internet saying she got $2 million for it. So I don't know which one is true. So what I hope is true is that she did get a royalty-based deal. You understand what I'm saying? Because $2 million is fine. This makes me think of Pusha T. When they came up with the McDonald's thing, and I guess it was 2004, 2005, Pusha T said that they gave them $500,000 for the McDonald's jingle. And he said that was the biggest mistake he ever made in his life. Because the $500,000 was good up front, but it's McDonald's. They would have made way more money if they took the royalty deal. There's another person, I believe it was the dude that played, he voiced, was it Simba? He voiced somebody on Lion King. And he took a royalty deal. So now he continuously gets paid for the Lion King. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm praying that they didn't just offer her $2 million for as an upfront payment, and that's all she got for the jingle. $2 million is perfectly fine. But if she would have got a royalty-based deal, and maybe it's a $2 million upfront plus royalties, that would be beautiful. But I'm picturing that this is Super Bowl, right? This is going to be played at the Super Bowl. There's no way that the Dr. Pepper commercial is not going to play at the Super Bowl. And you're talking about hundreds of millions of people, 100 million people plus tuning in to watch the Super Bowl. If that commercial plays at the Super Bowl, royalty checks will be crazy for this girl. So I'm praying that either she got the royalty-based deal and maybe a little money up front. So maybe she got the $2 million plus royalty-based, or strictly royalty-based. Because the pay that she can get off of this commercial is going to set her up and her kids up and everything up. I believe she's around my age, 26, 27. Set her up for life. You know what I'm saying? But what these companies like to do, which is why I'm having this thought of this idea. Hopefully, I'll get a little bit more information, and maybe we can visit it later on. Companies like this, what they like to do is, we'll take you. You may be on the bottom. You may be an average working person. We throw you a big bag, and that's all you'll get because you've never seen money like that in your life. And now we are going to eat off of it. I'm hoping Dr. Pepper does this girl good by this girl. She seemed to already be into music. Like, I believe she like already makes music or makes songs or whatever like that. And she just randomly decided to come up with this jingle. So maybe she's a little bit more informed. I'm hoping she's a little bit more informed on publishing and things like that, to where she got a royalty-based deal where she gets a certain percentage, or gets a check or gets something every single time the commercial is played and stuff like that. I'm hoping that is what she negotiated. You know what I'm saying? But I'll do a little bit more research and try and figure it out. Everybody was making, like, when it was like, oh, she got $2 million. There's like a little thing going on. Oh, she got $2 million for the jingle, and everybody started coming with their own jingles for Pepsi and Coca-Cola and shit like that, and it was cool. And I'm just like, I just hope it wasn't solely $2 million. You know what I'm saying? I'm just hoping it wasn't solely $2 million. You understand what I'm saying? Because if they played a commercial during the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl commercial about $1 million or whatever like that for however many seconds, they must predict that off of that commercial they're going to make 10x, 100x that amount of Dr. Pepper off of the commercial. So she just got $2 million, and they're going to spend $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, whatever on a commercial. They know they're going to make more money off of that. So I just hope that she gets her cut of whatever money, because it's got to play at the Super Bowl. There's no way. This is around the time where they start playing some of the Super Bowl commercials early. So it played at the NCAA game. I'm just hoping she gets the royalty-based deal. But that's it for me. Had a lot to talk about. We didn't get to an hour yet. This might be like 30 minutes or whatever like that episode. I could cut it down, chop some things out or whatever like that. Had a lot to talk about. ChatGPT stuff, please stop. Please stop. I'm tired of hearing, it's not just this, it's that. It's not like from people that I really want to hear your opinion and perspective. But when I hear ChatGPT language, when I see ChatGPT captions, I can't know that this is really how you feel, or if this is the ChatGPT way of making how you feel seem more palatable to more people. And it's all about just trying to be in the algorithm all the time. You understand what I'm saying? It's all about just trying to churn out as much content as possible. So you're going to go to ChatGPT instead of coming up with your own thoughts and fleshing them out or whatever like that. Like, I just don't like that. TikTok, I feel like this is the death of TikTok. People were saying that last year when TikTok got banned for 5 hours. People were tripping, losing their fucking minds or whatever like that. But this might be the nail in the coffin of TikTok. They're basically about to do what they did to Twitter to TikTok. They're about to make it almost entirely right-wing centered. Whole bunch of weird shit, a whole bunch of lies and misinformation being fed to public. Because they don't care about the safety of the public. They don't care about you being smarter, you being more informed. They want you to be stupid as hell so they can manipulate you, and so you can be trying to debate left-wing people all the time, like these weirdos be doing on the internet, where they want to come up with misinformation and lies and spin certain narratives about why people are getting killed for no apparent reason in the streets. I didn't even touch on that, but Alex Pretty was shot and killed after it looked like he got pepper sprayed, dragged to the ground, punched on and kicked. They found a gun on him, took a gun away from him, and then shot him, it sounded like 6-7 times. Unarmed, on the ground, defenseless, and they killed the man in cold blood on camera. And people are trying to defend that shit. People try to defend when they good. But when Charlie Kirk got smoked, all of a sudden, this isn't a place for violence. All murder is bad. Murder is unjustified. This is wrong. Y'all was willing to go to war with the left because y'all thought that it was a left person that killed him. But now that it's ICE killing innocent people that are just minding their business, all of a sudden y'all have all the justifications in the world for murder. Y'all are evil. All of y'all. Evil. Evil. But something's going to happen soon. Something's going to happen soon because this cannot go. Y'all people, something's wrong with y'all. And y'all like to hide behind Christianity. I talked about it in the last episode. Stop hiding behind Christianity while justifying murder. Thou shalt not kill. Is that not one of the commandments? Right? It doesn't say thou shalt not kill unless you don't support racism. That's not what it says. Evil. You know what I'm saying? But that's it for me. I'm out. Too sweet. Deuce.